I'm Peter Block here at TCT, and the question is which drug-eluting stent is the better? And we've had some long-term follow-ups, relatively long-term, 2 and 3 years, and now we have finally really long-term follow-up. With me is Naoki Shiomi from Japan. So, Naoki, tell me about your study and tell me about the long-term follow-up, which is really quite interesting.
Thank you very much. RESET trial is a prospective randomized non-inferiority trial comparing new generation everolimus eluting stent with first generation drug eluting stent of sirolimus eluting stent. In the original study, the non-inferiority of new generation drug eluting stent relative to first generation drug eluting stent was met in terms of both primary efficacy and safety endpoint. And at this time, we investigate the superiority of new generation drug eluting stent over first generation drug eluting stent through 7 years clinical follow-up.
Okay, so just to go back for a second, the first study was 3-year follow-up, wasn't it? And there was no difference between the two. There was non-inferior,
yes.
which is an important difference, of course. So non-inferiority at 3 years. So now you've gone out 7 years longer.
Yeah.
Tell me what the 10-year follow-up shows.
7 years follow-up, there was also no significant difference between the two stents. Actually, the 7-year incidence was 10.2% of TLR in ES and 11.7% in first generation SES.
Okay, so no difference also at 10 years. So even though you're 7 years further out, again, equivalence. Okay. Were there any clinical outcomes that were different? We talked about this earlier, and you mentioned there were a couple of clinical outcomes which seem to be different.
Yes, thank you. Great question. If we look at the composite endpoint of target region revascularization and target vessel failure, both of the target region failure and target vessel failure was significantly lower new generation EES than first generation SES.
Okay, so for target lesion failure and target vessel failure, right? You get less with the newer generation. That's an interesting outcome. Is it something that would drive you to say the newer generation should be used?
Of course, as you know, the first generation drug eluting stent has not already been available for clinical use.
Okay, so what we're showing is that we're using today is in fact a lot better than what we used 10 years ago.
Yes.
Good news.
Thank you.
Thank you.